Hello and welcome to my garage. After 3 years of waiting, last month I finally took delivery of my Rivian R1S. I've been kind of waiting to share it until I had some content that I thought was unique and worth sharing. And today I think I've got that. Last weekend we took a little road trip out to the hill country to see the bluebonnets, and I built a route that didn't follow normal lines. I needed it to detour through some scenic drives, and I was looking for a way to do that on the Rivian. But first, I guess I'll tell you a little bit about the car. It's fun to drive. There's just no way around it. It is really, really fun to drive. I took delivery on February 14th, and so I've owned it basically a month and a half, and I still can't stop smiling when I drive it. Is it perfect? No. In fact, this video is to show you what I perceive as a small shortcoming in the navigation system. Again, for times, and this is, in my limited experience with it, for times when you want to go off the beaten path, you want to deviate from the fastest route. You're not worried about range. You're going for a drive, which is all I've done in it. I've only taken it at most 150 miles from the house. I've yet to charge it at a fast charger. I charge it here at the house. But when I take it out, I want to go for a pleasure drive. I'm at the tail end of raising kids, and my wife and I find our weekends empty with looking for things for us to do. So anyway, I'll show you the car first, and then we'll talk about what I've done. So there she is, Rivian R1S. Oopsie, Rivian blue. Here, we're gonna change camera angles here for a second. That's better than looking at me, quite frankly. R1S Rivian blue, 20-inch AT brights, underbody protection, black mountain interior. Of course, it's the 4-motor all-wheel drive. That's all they're making right now. Even though there's lots of talk about the new 2-motor version that is not out yet. Like I said, I've had it a month and a half, and I've got about 1,200 miles on it, a little over 1,200 miles on it now, and I really, really, really enjoy driving it. A little bit. So this video, I don't want to make it too long. I want people to enjoy it. I'm hoping that I come up with content. There's lots of people out there making great content. I'm looking to make road tripping, day tripping videos, and how I plan, how I've chosen to use the car, and I hope you find this useful. And if you do, this, I guess I'll do my plug where if you do like what I create, please like and subscribe, and I thank you very much. Now we'll get to the content of this video about how I planned a trip through the hill country, taking scenic routes. And thanks for watching. So here we are in the Rivian. We're looking at the map. I want to show you currently we are on 2023.06.02 of the software. This is late March of 2023. There is an update, but we're not going to worry about it right now. This what I'm going to show you doesn't change yet. Well, doesn't change with this software, and who knows if Rivian will ever change it. But right now, you cannot route with waypoints or via points. If you want to go from, let's say, Liberty Hill to Marble Falls, it might give you a couple of options, but you can choose one of those options, but you can't add a stop in the middle somewhere. And when I was routing this weekend for a trip to see the Bluebonnets, I wanted to force a scenic route, and I can do that in the truck by, say I zoom in here and I want to add a stop. Actually, let's get it up there, closer to the road. Okay, that's good. And I can click on that and then add it as a favorite. The problem is, if you look, MW3H plus FF oatmeal means nothing to me. What I want to be able to do is change the name, and I can't. There's no way to change that point I've just added to my favorites on the Rivian itself. So, but I can do that on my phone, and that's what I'm going to show you next. Adding points of interest, giving them a meaningful name, and then using those to route with the Rivian so that I can take a scenic route kind of on my terms. So let's go do that. Okay, so here's the scenario I was trying to describe. We are at the Electrify America at the Round Rock Premium Outlets, and we want to create a route to Save the World Brewing Company in Marble Falls. So we're gonna choose Electrify America and then Save the World Brewing Company. Happened to be closed today, and it's gonna give us an optional route here. Okay, so this is the most direct route, but I would prefer to take an alternate route here through Liberty Hill down on this little side road and down to 1431. It's a more scenic drive. And so with the Rivian, you can't put waypoints in yet. So how do I force the Rivian to take this route? And let me show you how I would do that. So I'm going to cancel that route for now. I'm going to come in here. I know the route I want to take, and I am going to drop a pin. Okay. Add it to my favorites. Come over to the favorites and get the info on it and rename it. And I'm going to say Scenic Route to Save the World Brewing. Can't type. And I'm going to call it Stop 1. And maybe I'll put a date on it of, let's see, 28 March 23. All right, so now I've got that, and I can send it to my device, and we'll move over to my device for the next part. So here we are, and now that device with the tag I added is on my iPhone, and I can click the share button over here right beside the X, the little arrow pointing up there, and I can send it to the Rivian. And that's all there is to it. Now we can go out to the Rivian and save it in a favorites on the Rivian. And I can keep doing this with multiple points and use the Rivian's navigation to go point to point by name. which I think is pretty cool. So let's go out and do that. Okay, so we've used our iPhone to send the waypoint or the scenic route to the Rivian. So let's get in. And on the screen, you'll see that the scenic route to Save the World Brewing Stop 1, the 28th of March, is now been sent to our screen here. We can save it to our favorites. And now that's a waypoint we can use with a meaningful name. And when I'm on this trip from that Electrify America, I can choose this as a stop so that it forces me to go along that alternate route. And then once I reach that point, I can choose Save the World and continue my trip using the alternate route. This worked for we did a Blue Bonnet drive last weekend, and it worked beautifully doing that for us. So we come back here, and there it is as a saved location. Now you can see the one I actually used is still saved in there. It's the same location. I just call it Scenic Route to Marble Falls, but that's how you can add in waypoints that you can then hop from waypoint to waypoint, one at a time. The Rivian still won't do multiple waypoints at the same time, where you can just, point to point to point, but you can go to your first stop. That's why I labeled that one, you'll know, stop 1, so that when I come in, I can do an entire trip like this, stop 1, stop 2, stop 3, and grab them quickly. Go to stop 1 and then put in stop 2. Eventually, Rivian will hopefully add via points or waypoints where you can do a trip where you can put in multiple stops, but right now they don't. So this is a way to get meaningful waypoints that you can route through. Okay, I know that video had me doing the mapping on a MacBook Pro, but I wanted to show you a little snippet of video while I did the same task using my iPhone. Another thing that I didn't mention in the rest of the video is I did have a friend test this with an Android phone. I don't know what version of software he was running. I don't know anything about his Android device, but it did not work the same way with an Android phone. Basically what his phone would do is send GPS coordinates to the Rivian instead of a tagged pin with a useful name. Again, I wanted them to be useful names that I could go quickly. Oh, number 1, stop 1, let's go there. Stop 2, on to the next, and so forth. And his test showed that his phone sent the Rivian just GPS coordinates where it could drop a dot. And that's not very useful if you're trying to create a list that you can quickly scan and choose later. So that's just a thought. But here is a quick video of how I did it on an iPhone, not using a Mac at all. Thanks. Okay, this is just a quick clip showing you can also drop a pin on your actual iPhone, save it to favorites, then go in and bring up your favorites, click on the info button beside the pin you just dropped, rename it to whatever, again, something more descriptive. Save it right on your iPhone, so you don't need a Mac. It was easier for me earlier to do it with the Mac, but you can do it right on your phone, save it, and then bring it back up. Obviously, delete the route, but then you bring it up and you can click on the same share button and then share it to your Rivian. And so you can do this right from your phone. There you go. And finally, if you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up, subscribe. I'm hoping that I can provide content that's unique I don't want to do the same thing that you can find everywhere, although I will give my opinions on software as it comes out, and especially if Rivian ever does release changes to the nav system where you can add waypoints or via points, you know, where you can build a route and then just follow that along. I will certainly give that a try. And I hope to do videos on road trips. I'm planning to go up to College Station here in a week or so to pick up my daughter, bring her home for the Easter weekend. Maybe I'll record it if there's interest. Just show how I do a road trip. But for now, this is the video, and I really hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.